Now let's look at a scenario of a retail company. A retail company will have stores. A store will have a cashier or point of sale system where they register the transactions on that day in that store. A retail company can have multiple stores, which means they have multiple point of sale systems. These systems store their data in a small database capable of storing a few days' worth of data. At the end of the day, these data are usually dumped in an operational data store, whose main job is to be the catch basin of all these remote systems. The data here is considered raw, which means there may be quality issues in the data itself, depending on how the multiple POS systems are designed to record transactions. Usually, these data is then moved to the data warehouse, which stores data not just about the sales process, but could also store data from other internal processes. The transfer of data from the ODS to the data warehouse, or in general, any movement of data from one source to one target, is called the ETL, or extract, transform, and load. As the name suggests, the ETL jobs pull the data from the stores, in this case, the operational data stores, transform them to ensure that they all speak the same language, same date formats, same spelling and type cases, and then loaded to the target databases, in this case, the data warehouse. To emphasize, ODS are just any databases, but it is assigned to integrate multiple sources of data. And it is helpful when the data are coming from remote sources similar to our scenario. The data warehouse is then used to store massive quantities of data in a manner that can be easily updated and allow quick retrieval of specific data types. This database is used for reporting and data analysis. Now let's take a look at the general processes in a data warehouse. We usually have three processes in a data warehouse. First is the generation of the warehouse itself, the process of designing the warehouse and how the data is loaded. The second one is data management, the process of storing the data inside the data warehouse. Are we using a relational schema or are we leveraging on OLAP cubes? We will discuss that later. Third is the purpose of the data warehouse itself for information analysis, where queries can be made and data can be pulled out for reporting or information analysis in general. Now, the data warehouse have these following characteristics: subject-centered, integrated, time-variant, and non-volatile. When we say subject-oriented, a data warehouse is subject-oriented as it offers information regarding a theme instead of company's ongoing operations. These subjects can be sales, marketing, distributions, etc. A data warehouse never focuses on the ongoing operations. Instead, it puts emphasis on modeling and analysis of data for decision making. It also provides a simple and concise view around the specific subject by excluding data which are not helpful to support the decision process. When it comes to integration, in data warehouse, integration means the establishment of a common unit of measure for all similar data from the dissimilar databases. The data also needs to be stored in the data warehouse in common and universally acceptable manner. A data warehouse is developed by integrating data from varied sources like mainframes, other relational databases, flat files, etc. Moreover, it must keep consistent naming conventions format, and coding. This integration helps in effective analysis of data. Consistency in naming conventions, attribute measures, and coding structure, etc., have to be ensured. Time variant. The time horizon for data warehouse is quite extensive compared with operational systems. The data collected in a data warehouse is recognized with a particular period and offers information from the historical point of view. It contains an element of time explicitly or implicitly. One such place where data warehouse data display time variance is in the structure of the record key. Every primary key contained with the data warehouse should have either implicit or explicitly an element of time, like the day, week, month, or so on. Another aspect of time variance is that once data is inserted in the warehouse, it can't be updated or changed. Non-volatile. Data warehouse is also non-volatile, which means that the previous data is not erased when the new data is entered in. Data is read only and periodically refreshed. This also helps to analyze historical data and understand what and when happened. It does not require transaction process, recovery, and currency control mechanisms. Activities like delete, update, and insert, which are performed in an operational database, are usually omitted in data warehouse environment. Since here, we're only talking about two types of operations: loading and accessing. Now let's imagine that these or all the data are stored in the data warehouse. This can be split further into what we call the data marts. Data marts are smaller versions of the data coming from the data warehouse, and its main difference is that these data marts have someone owning them. It could be a data mart for the finance team, a data mart for the operations team, data mart for marketing. All of these different data marts get their data from the data warehouse where all the data is synchronized. And data marts and data warehouse all push data to reports and dashboards, which can be used by the executives or managers to make decisions. In this simplified diagram, we could divide the different aspects of analytics in general. The blue side is the operational side, where we look into what is currently happening in the organization from an operations perspective. The right hand side is the analytical side, where most of the things happening here are analyzing the data that is captured from the blue side. To provide more information, we have here the difference between operational systems and the data warehouse. Operational systems usually look at how the wheels are turning in the organization, or basically turn the wheels of the organization rather. It is where orders were taken. It is where customers are signed up to loyalty programs. It is where we log the complaints and produce the products. Meanwhile, data warehouse, we watch the wheels of the organization. We count the new orders. We ask why new customers sign up. We look at their complaints. And from a production perspective, we see if the production can meet the upcoming demand.